I think it's funny when you add a little bit of money to a sport and you give some girls attention what they can do with it. I think everyone should take a page out of our book and really put some more time and effort into women's everything.
Welcome to Breaking the Glass Hockey Podcast. We're talking women's hockey from the PWHL to the NCAA. We'll be talking with players, builders, coaches, and fans who have made this great game what it is today. It's time to educate, empower, and elevate. Let's go!
Welcome back to Breaking the Glass Hockey Podcast. I think we're at episode 42, and we have quite the guest today. Fresh off Walter Cup victory, fresh off Olympic gold. I mean, have yourself a little bit of a run there. 6-time Women World's Champ, 2-time Olympic gold medalist. Another, I know we're going to get dinged for this, another Northeastern alum. But welcome to the podcast, Hayley Scamurra. Scams, thanks for coming on with us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Brownie's intros are always great. I'm like, you got the intro. It's okay.
Yeah.
And the Northeastern ding thing is actually, Hayley, I think I told you this when we were texting about the summertime stuff, is that I was like, oh, did you know I have a podcast? And I have been really intentional about like not just using my Northeastern Rolodex. I don't know why. I just haven't asked Kendall or
Right.
I just text Skylar and was like, hey, you want to come on and talk about the Walter Cup and your rookie season? But Brownie's always like, oh, we could just get, this person, that person, this person. So obviously this is great timing. We're super excited to have you, but I have been kind of anti-Northeastern because I was like, I really want to make people believe that this is about women's hockey, not just a Northeastern led Northeastern heavy podcast, although that's never a bad thing.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so thanks for coming on. How's it going? You've had a little bit of a busy couple days.
It's been a little crazy. I thought I would get to kind of rest and relax in the off season, and expansion draft had some different plans for me. But honestly, I am really excited. It was a little stressful, obviously, but I'm obviously sad to leave Montreal. I had an amazing time there. Can't say enough good things about that organization as a whole. But I'm really excited for the opportunity to start with Las Vegas and start a franchise from the ground up and kind of take that more leadership role with the team.
Yeah, that's awesome. You want to tell us now the name since you maybe break some news here? No, you don't know?
I have no idea.
No, I know.
We don't even have a full team yet.
No, I know.
Yeah,
I thought you'd put you on the spot right away.
I was wondering when we were texting about what day we could do this in time, I was like, this is going to be a tricky time. That someone's coming for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you were probably in that, whatever is the 20-person list. And then the list is broken down into all these, like Dave was trying to tell me last night, the ENTL and all the acronyms for them. And I was trying to get a literally speed dating version of this for our listeners. For listeners, I had Coach Flint over last night at my house for a few beers, and I literally was quizzed, asking him every possible question about how this is all working. He's consulting for Vegas, so he got the chance to chat with Hayley this week and help make that happen. So we're excited for you. I will say, especially for our listeners, I did do a wellness check on Hayley before we started this to say, can you still meet? Because it seems like, oh man, I mean, tell us what this looks like for you now. What is your timelines? Let's just start backwards, right? With what happened a couple days ago. So what does this look like for you now? What's the next steps?
So, I mean, next steps now, to be honest, I've been looking at apartments where to live in Vegas. I've been looking, I really want to do a cross-country road trip with it to get there.
Oh.
So actually I ChatGPT'd that to see what spots to hit, where to go, how to, where to stop, how long to stop. So I really want to do that if we're able to with my boyfriend Nick and our dog Lexi. And other than that, honestly, I've just been working out this week just for fun, nothing too crazy, but just to kind of get back into the swing of things and get into some sort of a routine, which would be nice. I have a lot of clinics coming up this summer that I'm working at. I'm doing my very own hometown hockey clinics in Buffalo, New York, where I grew up with my dad, which I'm really excited about at the end of June. I'll actually be in
that.
Rochester, New York, beginning of July, working a camp the second weekend. We got the Vegas trip.
Hopefully we're gonna see each other.
Yes, I would love that. That'd be perfect. Yeah, got the Vegas trip with Flava Flav coming up in July, mid-July.
That's crazy. I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, as a longtime Public Enemy fan, I'm super stoked of that he has taken on this role for himself.
Mhm.
But it's a little bananas that you're going to be a Flava Flav. You know what I mean? It's like, it's crazy.
So, yeah, and we had grandiose ideas when this first came out that we were going to like email somebody and become the podcast that was there, podcasting live. I'm sure something is going to be going on. If you have any ins for us, or if you want to name drop us to anybody, we'll go. We'll go.
I'll put you on the list.
Yeah. But how is that more than just your team? Is it other teams as well?
So they literally invited every U.S. like women Olympian from the Winter Olympics, the Paralympians.
Awesome.
They
That's
had
what
actually
I thought.
also invited the Montreal Victoire team, so I've actually been invited twice technically, which is funny.
Yeah.
He's a big tent guy. He has everybody under. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's super exciting. I'm working another camp with the Capitals at the end of July, like with the youth there. And going back to Buffalo in August, working some camps with Christian Grunna this summer. I'm going to Breckenridge at the end of the month. And then going to Minnesota for his Shattuck camp. So it's just a lot of like bouncing around, working different camps, celebrating with different people. It'll be a very busy, fun summer.
Well, and you got to train, right? In the middle. I mean, being on the ice for a camp is, it's great, but you're touching pucks, but you're not training, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
Now, I think your boyfriend is a trainer, correct? Yep. He's a strength coach.
Yep.
So are you guys just like, you just traveling with a home gym, or what's happening there?
I mean, basically, he has his own set of like resistance bands and stuff. Sure. So when we are traveling, we'll work out with those. We'll kind of find a way to make it fun when we're traveling. And then just at home, we have the outdoor gym, which is called the Beast Bus. So
I've seen that.
We train there, which is a ton of fun. It's one of my favorite things to do in the off season. And that's where I'll be going after this. And we have some kids that we mentor who also come out to the gym as well. And so I get to like train with them too, which is really fun.
That's the difference of a pro athlete versus your regular person. When you're like, it's a lot of fun. I'm like, oh, that just sounds miserable. Just the name of it sounds horrible.
I've seen the videos. I think what's interesting, and, for our listeners, Hayley and I's relationship obviously is from Northeastern, but I had the very fortunate opportunity to recruit Hayley personally, directly. Yep. She was, my recruit when it came to our communications. Obviously, our whole staff. It's a big picture thing, but we did really get to know each other pretty quickly during that recruiting process. I had such a nice time. I remember your visit with your mom, and it was something. Do you remember the process of when you said yes to Northeastern?
I do, because it was, I wasn't expecting to say yes so quickly. I just remember that I just fell in love with it immediately. Like, I always was like, oh, I'll make the decision like later, but it was like, I had the visit, I saw the campus, I saw the rink, all the staff was amazing, all the players were amazing.
We always do this when we talk about the rink. We just, God rest its soul.
Well,
I loved that rink. Oh.
Do you have a favorite memory from Matthews, or a few, something that stands out?
I maybe just like the bean pot there. I think just being able to play in the rink.
I was going to say 2013.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was pretty great, but I just love that rink. I love the old barn. I love like the feel of it. I love the history behind it, and so definitely sad to see that go for sure.
Yeah. I think the story. What I remember is you came back and committed, right? Like, am I getting that right? Because sometimes I like to make up my stories to make them sound better in my head with my memories.
Almost positive it was like my official visit, so I spent the night with the girls and everything. Yeah. And I think the next morning I told you guys I wanted to go there. Like, and I think I remember because I was with my mom, and like she's not really the hockey person, so like she was just like, oh, if you love it, for sure, go, and then like my dad was home and he found out I committed. He's like, what the heck? Like, I wasn't even there. Like, what's going on? Like, how did this happen?
it was special. Haley,
Yeah.
I will tell you, and I just was down in Florida, got an award down there, and made some props to Lindsey Berman for
Mhm.
the recruiting process. When you're turning a program around and you're trying to land players and you're trying to get the next level and the next level, and the rule in teams in general is that you always want to sort of replace, as long as you're replacing a player and up leveling on any, like a fourth line, a goalie,
Mhm.
the top 6D, if you replace six, like you're improving. But and I said this about Lindsay when she came way back before you,
Mhm.
like you landed a good one, right? Like
Mhm.
okay, we finally got one. We finally got one. That's how I felt with you. And
Oh.
the story that Haley was telling about coming back was, we finished the visit. I walked away. I went and did something in the rink. I think I was closing things up. Like we had been
Yeah.
together a lot. Like we would have
Yeah.
dinner. Like her mom and I had wine together. Like maybe that was against the rules. I don't know, but we did it. Her mom was afraid to take the hotel that we were paying for because she thought she was going to
Terrified.
break the rules.
Oh,
We just had that conversation when we were maybe at rivalry series, when I saw your
Mhm.
family and I went to the restaurant and saw them, and her mom was
Yeah.
afraid. I was like, it's okay, it's an official visit, you can take the hotel room. And she's like, I don't want to screw up her eligibility, I don't want to take anything from you. um and I left after the visit and I was like, all right, let's catch up. Let us know when you want to talk again, when you
Mhm.
think you're going to decide. And I came back from doing things in the rink and they were sitting on the floor outside my
Oh my
office.
gosh. Yeah. I
And I was
forgot
like,
about
is
that.
everything okay? And I was like, oh my God, is it because I drank wine? Like, what? And
I
they were like, we need to talk to you. And I was like,
oh
oh,
no.
okay. And they just came in and Haley described it already and said, I think I just am ready. I just know this is the place. And I was like, I have
Mhm.
chills right now just telling you that.
Yeah.
That's how important you were to us. And that's how,
Oh.
what a pivotal moment, and how proud,
Yeah.
you know, if you're going to
Yeah.
get the Northeastern people on, Brownie, I'm just going to go on and on about it. But
Oh, well,
no,
let's
truly.
let's talk about your impact. Hockey East All Rookie Team, Pro Ambitions
Mhm.
All Rookie Forward, 3-time Hockey East All Academic, and Best Defensive Forward your senior year.
Mhm.
I have your stats: 39, 72, and 111 with 96 PIMs in 123 games played. And this is my favorite: a plus 82 for your career. That's awesome. As a defensive forward, a quote unquote defensive forward,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Be plus 82 is no slouch right there.
Yeah, for sure. And I think our program, we went through a lot of stages. Like I remember, I think it was my freshman year. At one point, we only had like 13 skaters on the ice because like we had so many injuries that year. And like I remember being in Vermont and I'm like, how are we even playing with this many people? Like, how is this possible? And then to like by the end of it, we're like making, the top 8 for the tournament and things like that. So it was really cool to kind of be a part of that, like that growth with the program. And to see where it is today is pretty amazing. And yeah, I loved Northeastern, everything about it.
You talk about the bricks in like Matthews, the arch and everything. You're one of the bricks of the foundation to build the program. You could think of it that way
Hmm.
Totally.
as well. Yeah, for
Hmm.
sure. Yeah,
Totally.
that's great.
That's, yeah, super proud moment. And continues to be, right? Because your whole hockey story is just, I know you've been through it time and time again on all of your,
Yeah.
podcasts and your interviews and things like that. But
Hmm.
I think what's super important to point out, and I heard you say on I was listening to an audio on something about the defensive forward thing and what does that
Hmm.
mean? And I think two-way player might be a better description of
Hmm.
how you play the game. But
Yeah.
what's so unique, and I wanted to ask you about for young listeners, because I know you have, and we'll get to the Our Kids Play Hockey, podcast involvement, because I think that's super cool. But you went to Ontario to play.
Hmm.
You know what I was looking at? It's kind of cool. Is that was called the PWHL at the time?
I
I
know.
have that note
I
on my
know.
paper. The Provincial Women's Hockey League. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wrote
Yep.
OWHL when I was writing it down. I was trying to
Yeah.
like do a mind dump of what I remember, and then I was like, I'll just use Wikipedia, and then I'll just use the USA site. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, PWHL. That is,
Hmm.
how serendipitous is that?
I noticed that the other day, or like honestly, when the league came to be, because like I always remember
It
calling
just
it the
triggered it.
PWHL. I was just like, wow,
Yeah.
that is such a crazy, like full circle moment right there.
There's so many players that played in it.
Yeah.
I want Linda to finish her line of questioning, but in my research for this, you are like, your fingerprints historically are all over women's hockey with firsts and stuff. It is like I knew some of the stuff, but then really putting it all together, I was like, holy smokes, like you might be the answer to like 5 different trivia questions. You know what I mean? It's great. But go ahead. Sorry, Linda. I just wanted to
No, it's okay.
like a bookmark so we get back to that. I don't want to forget. That's all.
It's okay. I got chills again, by the way. I don't know. I'm getting very emotional today. It's been a long week.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to bring up about that is that was a really early time when players weren't necessarily hopping over and going to Ontario. Like, how did that look for you, or how did you manage that from being an American player? Like, I think more and more players are doing that now, and they can go anywhere they want to play for a club. But how did you guys come to that like decision?
Yeah, so for me, I remember my dad really wanted me to go to Shattuck. And I remember I visited, and I was probably like, I don't know, 14, 15 at the time. And I visited, and it's a great school, beautiful school, but I just
Yeah.
did not want to leave home. I'm like, I'm not ready for this. Like, I don't want to live away from my family. Like, I'm going to be doing that at college anyway. Like, I'd rather just stay home. So our kind of compromise was we actually ended up getting recruited by the Burlington coaches at the time, Tom Fergus. And I think they implemented a rule that they were allowed to have like 2 players from the States on each team. I think it had like just come into play at that point. And he recruited me and my teammate Emily Janiga. We were both playing for the Bisons, I believe, at the time. And he had seen us play. I think we played against them, and he just said we would love to have you guys. And I think the opportunity to go with a friend was huge. I think maybe by myself that would have been maybe a little more intimidating. And my dad was like kind of willing to make that drive 5 days a week, most likely 4 to 5 days a week. And
Yeah.
I mean, it was a lot, but honestly, I do attribute a lot of my development to that league. It was really physical, really fast. Like, I mean, some of the best hockey I had played at that time was in that league for sure.
And exposure, right? Like,
Yes.
just coaches coming up and watching just the league in general, but there was lots
Yep.
of like Stony Creek Showcase and things like
Yes.
that, where it's
Yep.
just like it is now down the road here at, in Rochester for the PIP Showcase is similar to that. But I had it written down about Emily Janika because I was like, when I was going through that, I was like, man, blast from the past, that kid. She was so, I think I remember we were like, let's try to get both of them. They're so good. So for Brownie, Emily Janika played at Mercyhurst. Great player, also Buffalo native, and then played on the Buttes with you, correct?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So really great player, Emily Janiga. We'll try to find you and tag you. We like to tag everyone. We're like, we tagged you, we talked about you. So that's really great, and such a pivotal moment for kids. Like, think about how like early you have to make that decision. Some of our guests we've had on that have gone through like the choice to choose prep school or not choose prep school. We were having this conversation last night about it. Is that like the end all be all, or can you play on a club and get the looks and succeed? So that's great. Brownie, did you have another question, or you were interrupting me before?
I was already, no, I had it just when, like I said, when I was doing the research of stuff, and we'll get to it, but I did want to ask because the when you mentioned the Buttes, so that's the Pagulas own that.
They did in like my second year.
Okay, okay. Did you ever interact with them at that level? Because I feel like that's more of a hands-on. No, oh, okay.
Not them directly. Yeah, they had people who had worked for the Sabres that worked for us. So I remember Chris Bandura was like our big kind of point of connection at the time, and he did the PR, I believe, for the Sabres. But he was kind of like our middleman, I would say, between them. And so I remember when that transition happened, like the difference in like the care that we got, like we had, I mean, this is going to sound funny, but we had meals like before and after practices, smoothies after workouts, like just like the little things that you don't realize, but obviously now that's like a given, which is really cool. But at the time it was not a standard, like everything was on your own. We had skills coaches, we had good ice time, we, just our own locker room. There was just a lot of different things that we were kind of given once the Pagulas kind of had stepped in at that point. But yeah, it was my second year, I believe, with the Buttes.
Oh, that's crazy. And I'm assuming, I know from based on your social media, Buffalo Bills fan.
Yes.
But also Sabres fan growing up, so that was like a big deal to have them to come in like that.
It was huge. It was like an incredible vote of confidence for sure, and you could tell that they really cared and wanted to help create women's professional hockey in Buffalo and make it more impactful. And we had one of the best teams, honestly, I've been a part of. Like we were stacked that year, I remember. And
Yeah.
obviously we had a tough loss in the finals against Minnesota, but we just had such amazing players. We had Shannon Zabados, Nicole Hensley in net. We had Blake Bolden, Emily Falzer at D, Megan Bozek, like
Yeah.
forwards like Elia, Cameronese, Janiga, like just so many amazing players that I got to play with, and just having the environment we had, like having skills skates before practice and good ice time and all the meals and it was just amazing.
This is where Linda rolls her eyes at me because I do want to ask you about someone that you played with because you
Hmm.
played with Kelly Babstock for a year,
Yes.
who
Oh, here he goes.
I'm like enamored with her. She's like, and I hate to use this term, but she's my white whale, which is not a really complimentary term, but I really want to have her on the podcast because she's awesome. And
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of her. And I just didn't know if you had anything that stuck out from, because you guys were young playing then together.
She is such a character. She is so full of energy, just always the biggest hype girl in the locker room, always like willing to do anything for her team, just puts her body on the line.
Yeah.
Like, and she was super skilled, like super skilled player. Like, but yeah, she's so funny. Oh my gosh, life of the party for sure.
Just another excuse for me to tag her on our social medias.
Exactly. Exactly. We
Then
have so
speaking of-
many. It takes a lot for podcasts, We have to
Yeah.
just try to find catch fire moments.
Yeah.
And then talking about Buffalo, the connection here, we have this picture I want to add. There
Let's
it
just
is.
talk about that now. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
I mean, I'm a huge. I'm a Raiders fan, so I really don't have a whole lot to cheer for. But I love Josh Allen. I've had him as my fantasy quarterback for like the last 4 years.
Good choice.
What a thrill this must have been.
It was the most amazing experience, honestly. Like they reached out, they said like Joe Brady and Josh Allen want you to come to like OTAs, and I was like, I'm sorry, what? I will make this happen at any cost. And so there was like multiple days to kind of choose from. So literally like Nick and I were like moving out of our Montreal apartment. I'm like, we have to make this happen. So we left Montreal, drove to Buffalo, 6-hour drive, spent the night. The next day, my brother actually, I had him come in because he's a big Bills fan too, obviously, and we got to tour the new stadium, which was incredible, like the coolest stadium, I've ever seen, like in person, and just to see the enormity of it, like how it envelops the players, like the fans are gonna love it. It's so cool, and
Awesome.
and then I got to see the players like train, and then got to chat with them afterwards, and they were all just so respectful and excited and wanted to see the medal and wanted to like ask me questions and it was just huge to see like male athletes in that field kind of have that respect for a female athlete. I think obviously we've come a long way in women's sports, and to kind of see that mutual respect happen like in real time. And like, I mean, the video with Josh Allen when he's jumping up and down to see the medal, like that is ingrained in my memory. Like it was just so incredible, and it just kind of like, I don't know, in a way, almost like, I don't know, made it more exciting that I had this, like, how unique the gold medal is, right? Like, how incredible it is to get an Olympic medal of that capacity, and especially for football players because they don't really have that opportunity to do that.
Right.
And so I think they had like that extra level of respect in that matter. And, they've also been trying to get to the Super Bowl and trying to win a Super Bowl, and they haven't reached that yet. So I think they were asking questions about that, which was really cool. So yeah, again, the whole staff, the players, they were all incredibly kind and welcoming, and I can't say enough good things. So like, I was already a Bills fan, but now it's like exponential. Yeah.
Well, I
Right.
mean, the Boston girl had to move to Bills country over here. So it was an interesting year with the Patriots doing so well. But you can't not be a Bills fan living here anyway, because they have
Yeah.
such the same kind of like love makeup that I know about from like the Tom Brady figurehead is what Josh Allen is. He's
Yeah.
likable. Everybody likes him. He's a nice
Yep.
guy. Really kind of just people just puts the community on his back when it comes to,
Yeah.
how he operates. And that's cool that you saw the stadium. We went to, we took my father-in-law as a Christmas present to the last game at Highmark, the other
That's
Highmark.
awesome. Yeah.
So, but Yeah, and that was an opportunity. I mean, I was like, okay, I guess I got to wear Bills stuff today. I mean, we're not playing the Patriots, but
Yeah.
I showed my family. I sent a text message and showed my family, and my family was like, all from here. They're like, oh my god. And I was
Yeah.
like, I cannot even imagine that pinch me moment.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Something you said about the gold medal with in regards to with the Bills players.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a common thing? Like, do you have it and you appreciate it? I'm not suggesting
Mm-hmm.
that, but
Mm-hmm.
then when you bring it to like quote unquote regular people, and I'm calling Josh Allen a regular person, but like if you bring it to like a school or
Yeah.
a hospital or anything like that, and then
Mm-hmm.
the people's reaction to it, are you like, oh yeah, that make it make it click a little?
Yeah, a little bit. And I think, I also tell people like I love doing that because it also lets me like celebrate it again. Because it's like
Right, right.
when you win the medal, right? It's like it's in that moment and then the moment's over. Like it happens so fast and it's such an incredible feeling. And to be able to kind of relive that with people as you're showing the medal, as they're holding it, feeling how heavy it is. It's usually their first time holding an Olympic
Yeah.
medal. And then you kind of just keep realizing the enormity of it as you continue sharing it with all of these people. So I love doing that. I love being able to share it with everyone. And like I told Joe Brady this because he was just like, you just have a gold medal right now. Like this is incredible. And I'm like, yeah, I just get to relive it every time I get to show
Yeah.
people. So why
Yeah.
not?
We like, and I got a silver one at home. No big deal.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's what I
Yeah.
said. He did ask that too. And he's like, oh
Oh,
my
did he?
gosh, yeah, he did. He did.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah. They had done their research, so it was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Good segue to USA Hockey. I want
Yeah.
to I want to angle this a little bit differently than maybe, how we tell the story. But for, those listening, you have a less conventional path to becoming an Olympian.
Hmm.
It just in the way that, you weren't a late bloomer. You just didn't get the sniff
Hmm.
until later when you were on the buttes, right? You've gone
Yep.
through juniors, you've gone through college hockey. There's successful players we've talked about, and that was not for not trying. Dave and I were having that conversation last night when we were chatting about you, about how we just send an email and be like, you got to bring this kid to camp.
Yeah.
And somebody would say something like, I don't know if she's quick enough. And I'm like, she's playing on a line with Kendall Coyne. I think she's doing all right. I think she's going to be all right. I mean, that might have like sort of evolved your defensive forward mentality because
True.
you're not the F1, right? Kendall is
Yes.
every time.
Yes.
And that's built by design and it works and it's
Yep.
great, but you're also busting to get back, right?
Yeah.
But you just weren't presented that opportunity. As much as we knew you wanted it and we believed that you should be there, we just couldn't get someone to pull that string
Yep.
and say, drop her in and let her fail.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Right.
let her fail. That was really our approach was then bring her in there and show that she's not quick enough because we don't believe that's the case.
Right.
I want you to just kind of talk a little bit about, if you
Mhm.
can, like, what was that like? Your first camp, how did it feel? Were you like, oh my gosh, like you have so many accolades and you have grown so much as a person. Like you're not even a social media person and you're all over social media. And I love that for you. Like,
Yeah.
but what did it feel like? Do you remember like your first camp and how you felt and how, was it,
Oh,
was it scary or was it like, I'm going to do this?
I remember because so funny enough, like kind of what you were alluding to earlier, where I wasn't getting the like camp invite at all. Like that was always my thing. I'm like, just at least I know I deserve to be at the camp. Like I never had these like crazy thoughts where I'm like, oh, I should be on that team first line. Like it was just like I should be at the camp getting evaluated. Like I just don't understand how this is happening. But
Or at least give you things you can work on for the next camp.
yeah,
At the very
exactly.
least, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think for me, I had to like almost let go of it. I was holding on so tight. I was so focused on that I wasn't focused on, wow, I'm at a D1 college right now on a full scholarship. Like this is incredible. Like focus on this team and then that opportunity will present itself when it's meant to. And I remember I was in grad school at the time for speech language pathology in Buffalo, New York, while playing for the Buttes. Again, USA off my radar. I have stopped like worrying about it, stopped thinking about it. I'm just playing for the Buttes, being the best player I can be for the Buttes, having a really good season, really good start to the season. And I guess Bob Corkum was the new coach at the time after the 2018 Olympics. They had like a whole wipeout of like the staff, I'm pretty sure. And so he was like scouting our pro game. And I believe he came to our game against the Boston Pride actually. And I'm in grad school. I'm literally like studying for finals. Okay. There's like a little break in like our season, and I'm haven't skated in like a week or two. And I'm like in finals, and I get like a missed call and a voicemail from our GM, Nick Fatty, at the time. And I see the voicemail and it says like call me back immediately. And I'm like, what could he be calling me about? Like, what's going on? And so he tells me that I made USA camp for winter camp. And I was just shocked and
You're like,
just
what?
so excited. I'm like, but also kind of nervous because I'm like, I haven't skated in like a week or two. Like, I'm literally in
Yeah.
the middle of finals right now. Like, how am I going to do this? And luckily, when winter camp was, my finals were done. And so I was just, to be honest, like for the camp itself, I remember being super excited. I remember being like a little intimidated by some of the people. Like, that was my first time in the same room as like Hillary Knight.
Yeah.
Like, she was just like this big, you know, figure that you saw far away, and all of a sudden I'm in the locker room with her, seeing her in person, and you just feel like the enormity of her presence in a sense. And that was like
Hmm.
probably for me the most intimidating part. But then once she starts talking to you and she lets you in, and it's, you feel better. But at
Mm.
first it was scary. Other than that, though, I remember being really excited about the opportunity because I was like, I have nothing to lose. I'm in grad school. I'm playing for the Buttes. Like, why not? I'll just go for it. And then luckily it was the first time they had done the rivalry series, which is like the post grad.
Yeah.
At the time, it was just for post grads to play Canada in these like friendly matches. And I remember I did the camp, and I'm and then I made the rivalry series team. They wanted to see like more girls who they hadn't seen before, so a few new people had made the team as well. And again, it was only for post grad, so no college girls were at this team, which I think also helped. And so I remember for those games, I was just pumped. I was so excited. I actually don't really remember being nervous. I really just remember being excited and just really feeling like I had nothing to lose. Like, just
Yeah.
play my game out there, see what happens. I finally get to wear the USA jersey, like enjoy the moment. And I think that really helped me because I played really well. He kept putting me out there, and I was like, all right, this is looking good. Like, okay. And I remember too at the end of the rivalry series, like we're on the bus, like about to go to the airport, and he like he like pulls me up to the front of the bus, which is like crazy. All the girls are in the back. I get up there, and because he wanted to tell me in person that I made the world's roster. And
Now that I just got chills again.
I was
Just so you know.
I was just so excited and beaming. And then he's like, I can't tell people. And I go, well, they're going to see that I came up to the front of the bus, and I'm obviously smiling from ear to ear going to the back of the bus. Like, I'm not hiding my face. Like, what? And so then I always remember, like, when we got to the airport, all the girls were like, what happened? What happened? And then they were all excited for me and celebrating and whatnot. So it was something I'll always remember for sure. But it was just so incredible.
Yeah, I had a question because when you were talking about not getting the invite for camp, and Linda, you guys have an advocate for.
Mm.
I wonder, like, how they say like actors get typecast in roles, right?
Mm,
And I wonder, I mean, I'm looking at your stuff from the Buttes, Rookie of the Year. You were voted one of the 3 stars of the season by the fans. You were the All-Star Game MVP.
hmm
So it's not like you weren't getting accolades from the league. But I wonder if that defensive forward label, and they were
hmm
like, we don't need defensive forwards, we just need to fill the net. I wonder if
hmm
that kind of was the mentality, and I wonder if that's changed, building the team going forward and stuff. I wonder if you kind of like another broke the glass kind of thing there. It's just hard because you get pigeonholed, and then
mm,
you are it's hard to break that mold from a scout's point of view or a GM's point of view of these kind of teams.
Hmm.
It's just an interesting little thing. I'm
yeah.
gonna be careful, like how we describe players. Like even us,
Yeah.
Linda, like talking about players on the podcast, we have to be careful describing a player as, oh, they're a grinder, or you know what I mean. And it's because all that leads into it. Yeah, it's just interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
there's
how it works. It
definitely,
pops in my
yeah.
head, right out my mouth. That's how it
Yeah, and
works.
there's definitely like roles that people can play and that make you valuable. And I do appreciate those things about me because it is what makes me unique to the team.
Yeah,
Like with USA, like I'm the energy player. I'm the um, defensive minded. I'm able to get pucks out when you need pucks to get out, right? Like there's certain things that I'm really good at that not everyone does excel at, and that's what makes me special to the team. So I think it's okay to acknowledge that. But then I was also able to put in goals. Like it
right.
doesn't like exclude that, right? So I think you can allow players to have a role, but also know that they can be more dynamic than that as well.
I remember hearing a quote from John Robleski saying, "We're not going without you." Like, this team isn't almost like how so much about identity, like you said, and such a good lesson for all players. I think some of the dynamic, and we don't need to beat the dead horse about being at Northeastern and not getting invited, but I think some of the dynamic too that has been sort of grown as far as how we look at our talent in women's hockey and how the federations look at their talent is less now about where they play and how that program is doing and who they play with. I mean, yes, you had Kendall for, to say we had like a litmus test to say she can keep up with Kendall on a line. You should put her at this camp. But there's less of that now. That's a growth in women's hockey, like how we evaluate our talent and what their capabilities are. And coaches have to grow too. Scouts have to grow. Programs have to grow. So I think that's all a testament to that as well.
Totally.
I think there'll always be players that maybe didn't get the look, but I think we're more evolved in playing, sort of putting players in positions to fill roles.
For sure.
Yeah. But let's talk about goal scoring because we'll go to PW now. First goal ever for Ottawa.
Yeah.
I remember.
History,
I watched it. I mean, you doubled your standing high jump on the goal. Like,
let's point out too, it wasn't an empty netter. That was on Baby N. So that was legit, right? Okay. I didn't want to gloss over that. I wish I had the highlight. I would have put it in. I didn't think of that.
Talk about identity and energy player. Like, I think I jumped in my living room because you jumped. And I was like, oh my God. And I was screaming, and we have kind of an open floor plan. And I remember screaming to Nicole, like, Scams just scored the first goal. And Nicole was like, no way. And she was like running from the kitchen to watch the replay. Chills. Again, we have to talk more. This is just
I'm sure I have the puck somewhere. Great question. Don't know where it is. I have a lot of stuff kind of everywhere at the moment, but I remember that goal, that moment, like, and what's amazing too is like even to this day I get to Ottawa and like I have people being like, I remember you being the first goal scorer.
Awesome.
Like, and like, so they just have so much love for that and appreciation and respect, and I do for them as well. Like, I loved my time in Ottawa. Nothing but great things to say about them and the people there, like the community there. It actually reminded me of Buffalo quite a bit, like just that small blue collar community that like supports their teams. And I loved my time. And so scoring that goal for them is one of the highlights of my career for sure, like on a personal level. I just remember the arena was so loud, I like blacked out. Like, it was just the coolest thing. And then celebrating with like my teammates and everything. And because it was just so funny because like we thought we had scored earlier in the game and it was taken back because the net had like lifted up and it went under, so it wasn't a goal. And so I remember the fans just wanted a goal so bad. And I remember being on the bench, I'm like, why not me? I feel like, why not? And we had the power play and I let out a little half clapper, and it was one of my nicer goals for sure. And it was unbelievable. And it's really cool to this day. I have people like just coming up to me like, we remember, and like at the time being there, like I'd go to sign autographs and like the parents would be like, hey, she scored the first goal. So cool.
That's great.
Way to get in there with the history again, Hayley.
I'm telling you, all around, all these trivia questions.
So on to Toronto. I know that was probably a really tricky time, but maybe the first like sort of slap in the I don't want to say slap in the face because this isn't meant to be negative, like, but the first reality that this is pro hockey. Like, this is my job. It's a business, and I have to same with going to Vegas, but not the same. But sometimes there are choices and sometimes there aren't, right?
You gotta think of it, the other team really wants you. That's right. How, you know what I mean? Kind of spin it positively.
It was one of the harder things I've been through with hockey, for sure. I think I would have bet you millions of dollars I would have never been traded from Ottawa, like, because I just loved it there so much. Like, I never really saw that as a possibility. And so when I got that call that I was traded, I was devastated. Like, it honestly, like, I was so sad. I remember because we're in Toronto and I'm like in the hotel room. We're about to play them tomorrow, and I'm like, how am I being traded to them? Like, how is this happening? Like, how am I gonna get there? Like, all my stuff's in Ottawa. Like, I have a cute little like house I rent there. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, and again, just a wreck because losing all my friends in a sense, right? Like, you see those girls every day, and it's gonna be different because you're on a different team and you're not seeing them all the time. And uh, yeah, I was devastated for sure. But I think it definitely like helped me grow in another way. Like, it got me more comfortable with the fact of like moving, going onto a new team, finding my space in that new team. And, it was tricky at times.
Yeah,
It was a hard year for me for sure. But yeah, it was the reality of pro sports. And I'm like, we wanted pro sports and this is it. You get traded when you don't think you're going to get traded, and you have to make the most of the opportunity.
exactly. I mean, even watching, we talked very early on about the expansion process. I mean, it's really, I just can't get off social media. I think
Same.
Chris Sinclair's doing a really good job
Yeah.
covering each move
Hmm.
and talking about it. But the pain for Ottawa, for him, what's happening with it is it's palpable when he's talking about it because he's so close to Ottawa.
The
Yeah.
GMs are getting up like teary in their
Yeah.
press conferences. Marms was like
Yeah.
crying over Alina. Yeah,
It's
it's crazy.
it's so hard. And what's funny is actually Nick and I were just talking about this today. Like, I've literally been transferred or gone to new teams in pretty much every way possible. I've been traded, I have been a free agent, and now expansion. So I was like, that's the three, no more. I'll just stay put.
You were
Um
also the first PWHL player. This is another one of your things. You're the first PWHL player to play for all three original Canadian teams.
Oh
Another
yeah,
yeah.
another
yeah,
little footnote in
Yep.
crazy.
Yep. Another added to the list. Yep.
yeah. And before we talk about Montreal for a quick sec,
Yeah.
when did you first get an agent?
I first got an agent after the 2022 Olympics.
Okay,
Yep. So
okay,
actually, funny enough, Kim Weiss is a coach in the Maryland area, and she's friends with Dominique Didia, who's now the
yep.
GM of
Yeah.
Vegas. And so I was working with Kim Weiss because she coached the junior Black Bears of the Null. And she was like, "Hey, I have this friend. She's starting like women's like sports
Yeah.
agency with CAA. Like, she wants to chat with you." And I was like, "Okay, sure. Like, why not?" And then that's how that relationship came to be. And she had been my agent obviously up until she became the GM of Vegas. And now here we are, all
And
Back
three
Kim's
of
the
together.
us
coach.
together.
Kim's the
Yep.
coach. Dave is consulting for them,
Yep.
and they're like, "This is a no-brainer
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
us." You
So it's a
know,
pretty
I mean,
cool full circle moment
Well,
again. Yeah.
listing all those things, then it's not really a surprise that you're going to be.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? When you look at
Yeah.
it that way, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh,
yeah, that's cool. I had that question. I was thinking about it as I was looking through the process, and I was like, and how does an agent like, do this? I know the GM calls you. I mean, it's personal, right? For if you're
Right.
leaving your team, hey, you're going to, but do they do that through your agent, or do they just call you and say we made this decision?
Well,
Like a lot
yeah,
of,
so for expansion, right? Like, it was my agent was on it, like Vegas, obviously they had me on their list and things like that. And I, wasn't really ready to leave Montreal. Like, I wanted to stay in Montreal. And as the process kind of kept going, it kind of was inevitable that I would be in Vegas. And with that, I decided to kind of just do it on my own terms and decide like how many years I wanted and contract price and things like that. And so it was at that point, it had to be in my hands to kind of make the decision. And honestly, once I came to terms with that, like, I'm like so excited for the new opportunity in Vegas. Like, I am so excited to like build girls hockey there. I think they've already done a tremendous job doing it, but to be able to have a women's team in that area for people to come see on a more consistent basis, I think will be huge for
Mhm.
the area. And I'm really excited to kind of live in a new place, like
yeah,
live in somewhere that's warm all the time. Like, there's
And
just little
no
things.
taxes, no
No
taxes.
yeah,
taxes. Love
yeah.
that. So, um, there's a lot of things I'm like really excited for now, but of course it was also really sad to leave Montreal. Like,
Of
it was
course.
kind of amazing like how many different emotions there were in this process. Like, it's so hard to even fully describe, but it's pretty much every single emotion just in waves.
Yeah, I
Going out
mean,
on
it's
top, though, I mean, that's the way to leave, right? Win the
Mhm.
Walker Cup, then be like, okay,
Yeah.
you could feel that in everybody's energy post. post championship.
Yeah.
They knew, and that was mentioned several times. This is the last team this group is ever going to be together.
Yeah.
That same thing happens in college with championships too.
Yeah.
Even if you have a run, even if you're the Wisconsins of the world, you
Yes.
still know that group is not going to be the same because seniors are going to leave.
Exactly.
So they're kind of groomed for a little bit of that emotional piece. But
Yep.
I didn't realize that Corey
Mm-hmm.
was your PWHPA coach.
Yeah, Team
Yes.
Harvey's. I have
So
that.
I was like, oh, okay. I mean, that's
Yeah.
kind of cool to have that dynamic with her.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm sure that helped when you got to Montreal, but it seemed like Montreal
Yes.
was a good fit to begin with, championship aside.
Yes. It was it's funny. Yeah, she was my coach. We were Team Harvey's, and I actually was playing with Poulin at the time.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And we won a championship. We won the, showcase championship for that time. And I loved playing for her during that time, like, and obviously now, but like, I remember with the PWHPA, like she just took it so seriously. We did video, we had power plays, we had lines, like it was so organized, and like other teams weren't always like that because they were showcases on the weekend. So it was kind of easy to just show up and play. But like the kind of player I am, I always want to learn, I always want to get better. And so she was really invested in that. And so when free agency kind of rolled around, like I was like, it'd be fun to get coached by her again for like an actual season. Like I would love to see what that's like and be able to work with her more. And she obviously felt the same way, and their organization kind of was eager to get me during that time. And I think the feeling felt pretty mutual. And another chance to play with Poulin, I was like, I feel like this is meant for me. I'm excited for this. And I just had an incredible year. And funny enough, I played center with the PWHPA, and then with her with Montreal, I was gonna be wing originally, and then someone got hurt, and they're like, "I think we kind of need you at center for a little bit if you don't mind." And I was like, "Sure, why not?" And so I play center for a few months, like 2 months, and the girl comes back, and then all of a sudden I go to wing, and then in the middle of that game I go right back to center, and she goes, "Scams, I'm sorry to do this to you again, but you're really good at center. I think you need to play center." And I said, "Okay, sure, why not?" And so I played center the rest of the year, and honestly, I loved it. I think it was great. I think there's obviously things I
the
can work
defensive
on,
end
but
stuff, going
yeah,
back to that, just the physicality, being
yeah,
able to pin down low in the D
yep,
zone. I mean, it's more interchangeable now with wings and centers and just playing D zone. And you have a physical game in the PWHL where you have the ability to sort of rub somebody out
yep,
but I think it just suits you that way too.
yeah,
Just your physical game just comes right engaged straight away.
yep.
You've always reminded. I mean, I only watched you play, right? But you always reminded
Mhm,
me of Bergeron, the way you play.
mhm.
And it's just like
Thanks.
he could always fill the net if he wanted, right?
Yeah,
Like you can, but he knew the
yeah,
role he needed to do, and just like you
yep.
did. And then that was the player comp I always had in my mind watching you
Oh,
play.
well, thank you. That's a
Well, yeah,
nice one.
yeah. Well, or I should now say Bergeron reminds me of you. I could say it that
Yeah.
way.
That's awesome. So, is the Victoire group going to the Vegas thing?
I don't think so. It was a
Okay.
pretty like not last minute, but
Yeah.
it happened then, and I think people probably have plans and stuff like that. So as far as I know, it's just like the USA girls.
Okay.
I will say the
Awesome.
Vegas thing, the I forget his name, the representative for the Golden Knights, who the owners represent, I don't know if it's a singular guy, but there's one guy who's been out in front, and he was very open and forthright about wanting the PWHL to come to Las Vegas,
Hmm.
and it seems like the support that they're going to give you guys is
Hmm.
second to none across
Hmm.
the league from what I've seen.
Okay.
Has there been? Have you? I was going to ask, have you seen anything like that? No.
I honestly don't know. I
Okay.
think that's a lot of the crazy stuff with the expansion teams. It's just like there's so much unknown because it's all been happening so fast.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm sure there's a lot of things like there's so much for me to learn. I know the practice rink and I know the game rink, and that's about it because I'm looking
Really
at
what
where
you
to
need.
get an apartment to get close to those
Yeah.
places. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
like um it's interesting. But yeah, I'm excited to hear more about what facilities we'll get, what kind of resources we'll be able to have. I had heard that as well. There's a girl, Sherry Hudspeth, who does the youth
Yeah.
organization for the Vegas Golden Knights girls youth, and she was like, "You guys are gonna have the best setup." And I go, "Enlighten me! Like, what's
Yeah.
what's the
What's
scoop?"
that
So
mean?
yeah, so I'm excited to learn more about it. But also our GM is very busy, obviously still working on filling our
Right.
team and staffing
Mhm.
people and things like that. So I don't want to bother with too many questions at the time, but I'm sure I'll get those answers obviously soon.
And I did hear from we'll call it a little birdie, that you're going to be heading to the draft. Is that true? You're not going.
I
Okay.
really wanted to,
Spreading
but
false info.
no, it's okay. I had asked to, because I was like, I think it'd be obviously really great to have players there to kind of
Yeah.
welcome the players in and stuff. But I guess the league isn't approving of like paying for flights and hotels unless
Yeah.
you're going to the awards thing.
Oh,
And I'm like, I'm not doing that on my own dime right now. Like, I got a lot going on. Like, that would have been a
Yeah.
lot for me to add to my plate. And it was more so if it was covered, I would have
Do
gone
you,
100%.
do you get relocation costs in your contract? Can I ask that?
I think it's up to $2,000.
Okay.
So for a cross country move, it's not quite enough money, if I'm being honest. So
I can tell you that moving from Boston to Rochester costs us $8,000.
yep.
I believe
So
on your taxes, you need to talk to your like tax person, but I believe on your taxes, because I remember moving a few times from up and back from Florida and South Carolina, you can claim out of state moves, I believe, for up to 2 years on your taxes. So maybe just file that away to remember. Don't
I
get yourself
will.
in trouble.
It is stored up here because I'm looking
Yep.
at things and ways to do it, and I'm like, ooh.
Pro tip: we'll tag H&R Block on this or something.
Yeah.
Maybe a sponsor.
Sponsor
But,
us. Yeah.
but great segue. Somehow Brownie and I work it out. We might argue the whole time on text before we get on an episode, but we work it
Quite a
out
bit.
because great segue. Your family. I feel like your family is going to enjoy visiting you in Vegas. They're a very fun group.
Yes, they are. My mom has already looked up round trip flights in December and they were like $300. And so she's pumped because like for Canada, it was a little expensive to get there and a little
Yeah.
far driving wise. Like it wasn't as easy. My one brother lives in Austin, so he's pumped because it's a much quicker flight.
Awesome.
And yes, I think my family would be very eager to go to Vegas.
They travel in numbers from what
Yes,
I've
they
seen.
do.
I mean, I've
Yes,
seen
they
that
do.
in Boston, but I really saw that at Rivalry. I mean, we were in
Yeah,
Buffalo, so
true.
obviously.
Yeah.
Is there a
Okay,
clause in your contract about gambling? Is there anything anti-gambling?
I think, yeah, we're not allowed to gamble on like hockey
No. I
or
didn't mean like
sports.
that. Obviously, no. I didn't mean that. Sorry. I'm not
Oh.
trying to get you in trouble. But are they like
yeah.
you can only go to the casino 10 hours a week or something like that? Is there anything about like going to play blackjack or anything?
No.
Okay, I was just curious. Again, I told you, in my head, out my mouth. That's how I work.
All right. Last thing, important though.
Mhm.
So you got involved with, I guess I'd say, like a group, an organization, a movement called Our Kids Play Hockey,
Mhm.
right? I remember early on you had like announced it, like you're partnering with them. Like, what is
Yeah.
your role with them?
So I'm just like a podcast co-host with them.
Okay.
And so they have Our Kids Play Hockey is like the main thing. And
Yeah.
underneath that is Our Girls Play Hockey. So that's primarily what I'm on with them because they also do a bunch of stuff with the Our Kids. And so I've had different players come on and we interview them. They've done ones where it's like the day in the life and we go through what I do in a day or like in a season, what it's like. Going through the championship stuff, going through the Olympics. Like we've done a lot of like fun different episodes like that. I've really enjoyed it. It's been really fun. We've done Q&A ones where people can ask questions to the podcast and for me and things like that. So um I remember they reached out, honestly, I think it was this time last year, and
Yeah.
they wanted to, they wanted me to be a part of it. And I was like, honestly, why not? Like it could be a
Yeah.
good experience for me and get used to like interviewing people, being on camera, like different things like that. And um it's been a great experience. I've really enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun. I've seen a few kids with like posters at games and things like that about listening to the podcast. And so it's a pretty cool experience. And I'm glad I get to kind of like help the next generation in a different way.
Yeah, I think you're great on it. I listened to a bunch of the episodes that I think I told you on text, and
Yeah.
specifically the interviews. I didn't want to like regurgitate. There's been
Mhm.
so much media, so the last thing I wanted us to do was to sit here and ask you the same 10
Yeah.
questions that were
Yeah.
on. That was important to me. But were you connected to one of them, or was that through? How did you get connected with
They
them?
had interviewed me at one point. So they interviewed me like just for one of their episodes. And I guess they just
Awesome.
said like, "Hey, we had thought of you. We thought you were very well spoken and we would love you to be a part of this." And I was like, "I'm in. Let's do it."
Yeah, and Brownie, I don't know if you looked at this, but like it's really cool. Like Our Girls Play Hockey. You've got like that can be anything from skill based,
Yep.
like here's how to angle, or what happens when to mentality, like what happens when I don't make a team, like how do
Yeah.
I deal with this?
Yep.
Just such a growth opportunity, like you said, like to
I should
give
have the guys I play with listen. It sounds like
you should send it to them about knowing your teammates' names and not saying the wrong name, or just like, having some.
I wasn't going to
Yeah.
bring that up while we were recording, Linda. I did want to ask
Yeah.
before we finish. So I saw this thing, which was incorrect, that it said you and your dad, former NHLer, and actually I remember your dad. I'm old enough to remember your dad playing.
Yeah.
But they said you guys got points. You were the first father-daughter to get points in Vancouver in that rink. But then in my research, you
Yeah.
actually did it at Capital One. So like the Wikipedia line is
Well,
incorrect,
he
right?
didn't play at Capital One.
Oh, that's
Yes, that's the
the asterisk because it's still
Yep.
a Washington. Gotcha.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
I did want to ask, so did you wear your dad's old sweater in walk-ins or
I
in warm-up?
did
Because I
in
saw it both ways.
walk-ins. It
Walk-ins. Okay.
was yeah, so that was a cool thing. My brother and my brother wanted to get his jersey framed. They don't really sell his jerseys. So I
Sure.
had this guy, Genius Jackets. He does, cool jackets and jerseys and things like that. He was able to recreate his old jersey.
Oh,
And so that's what I wore. And it's funny because
yeah.
on the back he signed it to like the kids, like, love you, dad, me not knowing I was gonna wear it to the Capital One Arena walk-in game.
Yeah.
And so it's on the back, so it's pretty funny. But that was really cool to wear going into that. And that game was a lot more special than I kind of anticipated it being. They just made it really special for me because I help with the Capitals
Right.
organization like in the summers and stuff like that, and they just made it like again, just so incredibly special. They had like a promo for me on the Jumbotron where they showed me like working with the youth in the area and then like
Yeah.
talking about my dad, and it just like it was just so much tied to it I just wasn't anticipating, and it was really special.
Oh, that's great. I will
Yeah.
say hockey does that familial stuff better than any
Mhm.
other sport. They really do. That's
Yep.
great.
Yeah, and your dad's a class act. I
He
mean,
is.
he
Yeah.
really in the process, in the college process, and might have been a little surprised that she committed on the spot and didn't tell him first, but
Yep.
he was always so gracious, like wanted to talk
Yeah.
hockey, would sit down in the office and we could talk
Yeah.
about the forecheck or something that was going on that he saw with the team, but never forced that on you, never,
Yeah.
just never really even said what he thinks and where he really wanted the USA hockey track. He
Yeah.
thought what we all thought. We
Yeah.
weren't like, we didn't have
Right.
rose
You
colored
were on the
glasses.
same
We were like,
page.
something's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
but yeah, just amazing. You have such a great family.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah,
Um,
I'm very blessed.
so I think your only goal for this year outside of it's inside of the rink, but it's
Mhm.
it's social because you've been such a social creature and you had your Pink thing. You met Pink.
Yeah.
We can't not mention that, even though it's been everywhere.
Yeah.
You never got her to a Victoire game, correct?
No,
So you're in Vegas though.
Doesn't she have a residency in Vegas?
true. This is a really good point. I worked really
Yeah.
hard. I
So
wanted her to
that I'm
come.
going, right? When she goes, because I just brought it up. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You
is
can
that
be in the
I'm
box
in?
with her. Yeah,
All
I'll
right,
yeah,
pay
yeah.
for my own.
we got to tag Pink in this too. I'm writing it down.
Well, I was thinking about that because I knew that was a thing. I want to get her to a game. She wants
Yeah,
to come. She's so
yeah.
pro women, everything.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, Vegas is a better place for Pink to go. Sorry, Montreal, but
It,
it is.
yeah, I know. I also tried to get her to go to the MSG game too. I just don't know
Yeah,
if it worked out. But now that I'll be in Vegas, that's a really good point. I hadn't even thought of it. I'm on it.
on
Yep.
it.
Hey, real
Awesome.
quick, this just triggered a thought that I had written down that we didn't get to talk about. You were part of the history and the Dream Gap tour by playing the first women's game in Madison Square Garden. Another footnote for you.
Yes. Yes.
Um, but you guys got talked to in the pregame by Billie Jean King.
Yep.
Was that like, were you like looking back and you were like, oh, is that where it all started with Billie Jean King? Like,
That was definitely like a huge moment watching the game this season at MSG. Like I had tears in my eyes. Like I
yeah,
literally remember us playing there because it was during COVID
yeah.
and we were just playing. We were technically the New Hampshire team playing the Minnesota team at Madison Square Garden in an empty arena
That makes perfect sense.
in like our second year trying to get a pro league started. And now here we are 5 years, 6 years later, and it's this huge movement and we're selling out MSG, like the coolest arena. Cause I remember being in that arena, like, and you can feel its history, kind of like I was saying with Matthews, where you feel the history of it, you feel the significance of it, the weight of it. And to have that filled with fans who were excited to be there wearing Sirens jerseys, wearing, PWHL jerseys in general was just, it was incredible to see. It was a kind of like a pinch me, we've made it moment for sure. I think for women's hockey, and to see how far we've come is pretty incredible.
It's going to be pretty cool to have an opener in Vegas. I think the Vegas,
they do a whole show, like the Vegas Golden Knights.
I think they're gonna like just really show up and show out. I do.
I think so too. Yeah.
And we're so excited for you. We're so thankful that you were able to come on.
What number are you going to wear in Vegas?
I would hope 16. But
well, I was asking because you had 14 and 16 in your past.
I know. And you know what? With Ottawa, it was a little confusing with me signing autographs. I'm not going to lie. So I think I'm sticking with 16.
Right.
Well, I think you're going to do great things. Obviously, they are so lucky to have you just from the perspective of the leadership that you bring, and you are, to me, the epitome of if you can see it, you can be it when it comes to your journey.
Yep.
Look for Hayley playing in the P-Dub for the Las Vegas blank.
Yep.
And we'll have to have you back on after that season gets going. You can tell us about that evolution. But thanks so much again for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And I'll always remember, you finding me, recruiting me, and bringing me to Northeastern. It's the start of the journey and everything. So it's pretty cool.
Massive core memory. Thanks for saying that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for tuning in, listening. As we always say, tell 100 of your closest friends about us, and please like, follow, subscribe at BTG Hockey Pod on all socials. But yeah, thanks. It was really a pleasure for me. I never got to meet you before, and I feel like the Infinity Stones. I'm like, I got Hayley.
Yeah, thank you again.
All right, we'll see you next time. Thank you.